ceremonies because usually it's more not as laid back as today. And of course, because I've gotten older, gotta have my cheater readers. Ella's children, April and Luke, and Ella's sister, Evelyn, thank you for being here today to pay your final respects. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I started.
I started.
Oh, you got the camera set up? Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. The final respects in honoring Ella, a mom, a grandmother, and a friend. We also like to thank Ginger for her valuable help setting up everything on short notice, and for Ella or Ev using this backyard. At this time, please place your cell phones on silent mode, please. Thank you. My name is Ronald DiBiasio, or Ron. I am a chaplain who will be officiating Ella's celebration of life ceremony today. But I also have a personal connection with Ella. She was a friend of mine. I worked with her many years back. I knew April when she was young, and Luke was like knee-high to a grasshopper. So back in '93. And Hannah, she was in diapers. So there's a personal connection too with myself and Ella. So hopefully I can stay focused. Towards the end of the ceremony, you may share a memory you have of Ella. You may be uncomfortable with public speaking or maybe a little embarrassed. However, this is a chance to share a fond memory you have of Ella. At this time, let's take a moment of silence, and then it'll be followed by a prayer. Holy Father, thank you for those who are here today to honor and celebrate Ella Pitchford's life and for being a blessing to her family, and bless everyone here with peace and comfort. Also, Lord, please give her family and their friends the strength to endure this loss. And I'm going to do something a little different because normally I have like audio, visual, and all that set up. I'm going to try to play the song Amazing Grace. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. The song Amazing Grace.
Songs frequently mentioned on the web. Amazing Grace, my chains are gone. This is Amazing Grace and others.
This is old school, but usually, like I said, I'm usually doing it at a mortuary, and so they have all the setups. Yeah. Hopefully I got it right. I can't see with the sunlight. Yeah, you sing along if you know it. How many of you know the story to that song? Oh, Joel did. The guy that wrote that song, he was a ship captain back in the 1800s who brought slaves over from Africa, and he had no compassion for the slaves. And then one day he woke up and became a Christian, and he was blind, which means he didn't see what he was doing wrong, and now he sees. And so after he became a Christian, he wrote that song. And so that's the short story to Amazing Grace. It was about a ship captain that was a slave trader.
Beautiful song.
Oh, yes, it is. It's a beautiful song. Yeah. Now I will now recite the Lord's Prayer. You are invited to recite the prayer as well, if you know the words. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the power, the glory. Sorry, I didn't have I goofed, and I know the song. The kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Sorry, Lord, I screw up once in a while too. Okay, well, we're going to go into Ella's obituary, and some of it I'm going to read from the phone because April wrote a beautiful story about her mom. So I'll share it with you, but it was too much for me to put into my notes. Ella was born April 14th, 1948, in Phoenix, Arizona at Good Sam Hospital. And she left us and her loving family on January 21st, 2025. Ella's kindness, laughter, and love touched the hearts of everyone she met. She was, in my personal opinion, an amazing person. Ella loved baseball, if you didn't know that, especially the Diamondbacks. And whenever she had an opportunity to go to Chase Field and watch the game, she would go. She also enjoyed going to the senior center to partake in activities the center offered and to be with friends. And being like most teenage girls back when she was young, she loved Elvis Presley. Yeah, I guess some of the women still do. Oh, Ella had a Bible verse, and I'm going to have to look it up. It was written down, it is John 15, verse 9 through 17. April found it that Ella wrote down, so here we go with technology. Bible verse 15, John 15, verse 9 through 17. I can kind of see it. Okay, well. Yeah. Okay.
Tell Siri to read it.
I don't know if I have Siri. I never used that stuff. I'll have to put, here we go. I can see it this way. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. So, that was basically, an act of love when you wanted to die for someone. So I guess Ella, I don't know where she found that verse, but it meant something to her to have it written down. Gotta go back to the phone, because this is what Ella, this is what April wrote, and I don't know, you might need your Kleenex. Let's see. Was that Messenger, or was that Messenger? Yeah. Okay.
It was odd hours. I didn't want to wake you up, so I figured Messenger was best.
Oh, yeah. We were texting back and forth day and night. Okay. Wow.
You know, the version in you too. Look at how many birds on the
There you go. Even the birds listen. Okay. Hi, Ron. Thank you again for all the patience. Okay, let's skip on that.
Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day.
There are some papers that held great information. A lot of this won't be necessary in particular order, but just sharing some things that people have shared with me, and this is referring to April, me, and that I have found on some of these papers. Ella is the oldest of 3 siblings, Evelyn Pittman and Jay Hedgepath. Jay has since passed. Mom has 2 children, April, and then her son-in-law, Scott, and Irish is their last name, and Lucas Pitchford. She has the best granddaughter ever, Hannah.
Mom wrote that one.
There's no bias there, is there? Hannah Irish. Ella was a 3rd-generation Arizona native, making April the 4th generation, and Hannah the 5th generation. Also, all 3 were born at Good Sam Hospital, along with Stevie Nicks. In the covered wagon days, our ancestors were trying to make it to California, but kept getting headed off by Indians. They turned around and homesteaded in the hills of Thunderbird Park at 59th Avenue and 101. I found that interesting. Upon graduating from high school, Mom's friend Margaret enrolled in beauty school with aspirations of doing hair in Hollywood. Mom decided to enroll as well. After about 4 years, Mom realized she actually hated doing hair. So a friend and future sister-in-law, Verna Potter, got Ella the Sunday papers to look at the classifieds. 1 week later, she started at Motorola. Verna also told me how much my mom loved life before the fire. At the age of 21, she and my dad, Joe, bought matching motorcycles. I found that interesting. I never knew Ella was on bikes.
Me too, mister.
Well, we would have fun today. She's around. 'Cause I've got mine too. Mom wanted to jump a ditch, and, well, she didn't make it. I'm glad I wasn't with her. She had to have cosmetic surgery on her face as a result. Yeah, I never knew that one. A year later, April was born. 10 years after that, Luke popped into the scene. Both she and her son Luke were burned in a house fire in 1984. Luke was burned on 25% of his body, and Mom was 50%, with mostly 3rd-degree burns. Ella spent 4 months in the Maricopa County burn unit, and at one point, the doctors advised Joe to arrange for last rites and make funeral arrangements. But Ella pulled through it. Ella was robbed of her hearing as well as portions of the many fingers, but she never let anything hold her back. I attest to that. In fact, despite learning how to walk again and relearning how to function with disabled hands, she decided to leave Joe. When she left the burn unit, her mother, Grace, took her in, and April and Luke, while she continued to heal and get back on her feet. Ella eventually tried to return to work at ITT Courier, but they could not accommodate her disability. She cried for days. She hated that she had to accept long-term disability and government aid, and she simply wanted to work. She was forced to limit her earnings to less than $100 per month, or else she would have jeopardized her allowance. Throughout our childhood, we may not have had a lot, but Mom had the will and always found a way to provide for us and any of our friends and anyone else for this matter. Our apartment was a known safe haven for the friends who needed a meal or a safe place to sleep for the night, while they navigated family squabbles or teenage anguish. She even managed to take us on a vacation to Disneyland and to visit relatives in California from time to time. I simply do not know how she did it. We are eternal grateful for all the church, charity, and food pantry donations we have received over the years, as they truly helped us more than they ever know. Yeah. With this in mind, I think people would be surprised to hear that when Ella came into a very small amounts of money after her own mother passed, we discussed that she had donated 52 charities over the course of only a few months, instead of keeping the money to herself. You will not find a more gentle, kind, and humble, giving, independent, strong-willed woman. God truly broke the mold when He made Mom. We found a partial log of the Bible verse. Oh, okay, that was the Bible verse. I guess she had a log. And if you go to Thunderbird Park, we're talking about homesteading. There also is a plaque at Thunderbird Park that refers to the Hedgepath Hills. Yeah. So next time I go to Thunderbird, I'll have to look for it. Donna Taggart, Jealous of Angels. I'm going to play another song, and you may want to have your Kleenexes with you. I love this song, and I play it at most ceremonies. After the Mazda commercial.
Mom's Funeral, brought to you by Mazda. Go Mazda.
I love this song, but it's a tearjerker. It's Donna Taggart, Jealous of the Angels.
Praying you just walk by.
I will now recite a poem titled I'm Free. Don't grieve for me, for now I'm free. I'm following the path God laid for me. I took his hand when I heard his call. I turned my back and left it all. I could not stay another day to laugh, to love, to work or play. Task left undone must stay that way. I found peace at the close of the day. If my parting has left a void, then fill it with remembered joys. A friendship shared, a kiss, ah yes, these things too I will miss. Be not burdened with time or sorrow. I wish you the sunshine of tomorrow. My life's been full, I've savored much. Good friends, good times, a loved one's touch. Perhaps my time seemed all too brief, but don't lengthen it now with undue grief. Lift up your heart and share with me. God wanted me now, he set me free. In the Bible, Isaiah 43:1, it is written, Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, and you are mine. Thank you, Lord, for giving us hope and reassurance that there's eternal life. At this time, if anyone would like to share a memory you have of Ella, you may do so. If you could stand up so people can hear you, that would be great. And this is the tough part I always come across. That's why I give you the heads up before so you can think about it. So I'm going to start out with my memory of Ella. I was a young job coach at a place called Valley of the Sun School, and Ella was our administrative assistant. And of course, at first, I was kind of taken aback by how she was disfigured. But she had such a strong strength in her. She was a fighter. She would not give up. And she enjoyed being around people. And she was just an amazing woman, and I was touched by her, because a lot of people could have pity parties, but she didn't. She wouldn't give up. And I remember, like 1993 or 94, we did a little treasure hunt for Luke. I don't know if you remember that. We hid things around the campus and stuff, and little toys and stuff, and you went looking for it.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Does it? Yeah. Well, 93. That's that was a few weeks ago. But I was amazed by her. And I went to her 50th high school reunion also. I think it was 50th. She didn't want to go alone, so I took her. She went to Maryville High School. I went to Alhambra High School. Yeah, you got it. Revival schools. That's right. The Alhambra Lions and the Maryville Panthers. But I was a good boy that night. I just smiled, and I was a good escort for Ella. Did the best I can not to say Alhambra the rules. But and then we went to a baseball game too, and she had good seats. So and I think it was behind home plate actually, and it was like 6 or 7 rows up. So yeah, so that was her love. But I wish I was able to spend more time with her, but I still work, and so I was really surprised when April reached out to me, because I didn't know Ella was having health issues. So anyways, God bless you, Alice. You were an awesome lady. Okay, my turn's up. I know you all got Luke, you gotta have stories about you. Oh.
My name is Ev. I just wanted to add, thank you so much for the ceremony and stuff. I wanted to add, with the Hedgepath Hills story, my dad used to share that he had great uncles that were horse thieves, and they would go up to the top of the hill over there so they could see the sheriff coming, and that's how it got the name Hedgepath Hills.
Ah.
That's what my dad said. He may have made it up, but I believe it. And then talking about Maryville High School, I'm 2 years younger than Ella, and my memory sucks, but when we were in grade school, when we were in 8th grade, we did like a field trip and went to the high school to see the high school and stuff. And I may have borrowed my sister's clothes. And when we were touring the high school, she saw me. So, yeah. Yeah, she didn't like that very much. And also, like, I'm the middle child, so I love to pick on my little brother, but she would have none of that, so she would let me have it. So, yeah, I just wanted to straighten out the Hedgepath Hill story.
I appreciate that.
Hey, Ron?
Yes.
I'll tell you a couple things that maybe most people. Hedgepath family is pioneer stock. If you look it up at all, you'll see that. How many generations, Ron? 6 now?
5, isn't it?
5 or 6.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting heritage that Ella was part of. And the other thing I'll say is that I never knew any gal, and I worked with Ella for quite a few years, I never knew any gal that loved Red Lobster more than Ella did. And my wife
I was not aware of that.
Oh.
Yeah?
I don't know how.
She kept it in business, huh? You've got.
I know Ella from church, and we both always sat in the back. I was kind of handed her hearing stuff, so she had that. But I tell you, I learned one thing, that lady is very independent. Don't try and help her with her walker, get it in and out of her car. By God, she's going to do it herself.
Amen to that.
I wanted to add to the Red Lobster story. We were sitting in the hospital.
Oh my God.
As she was passing, and it was just like official, and I look at the TV and there's a Red Lobster.
And there had been one the entire time.
Right.
There
That
was
TV
a
was on.
Red Lobster commercial on
Yeah,
TV.
and it was shrimp of all things.
Oh.
Definitely. That blew our
Wow.
minds.
Okay, well, we had some good stories about Ella, but I know there's some more out there. I know it takes a lot to work up the courage because most people are not public speakers. But come on, folks, this is Ella.
Millie's coming up.
I'm coming up.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, my name is Millie, and I'm a cousin. But Aunt Grace, Ella's mom, and my mom were just best friends when we were kids. So Ella's a little bit older than me. I'm kind of like, there's my sister, there's Ella, then my sister Nora, then Ev, and then me, and then Mary. We're kind of like, anyway. So, I could tell you we really had some good times together. One thing I really remember is she went to beauty school. Like I said, I was probably 16 or 17 and she'd already graduated, and so she said she would cut my hair. And I always had really long blonde hair. I had long hair. And she said, I'll cut your hair for you. I went to school and I could do it. And so she took my hair and she cut it like right here. And she's like, oh, I didn't mean to cut it so short. I start crying. I'm like, what do I do? And my mom's like, don't worry, it'll grow back. And, Ella was really smart too. And so I spent a lot of time over there. We had a big family. Actually, I think about it, Nev's family was just a little bit smaller than ours, but I'd love spending the night over there. And so, and then her parents would go, my aunt and uncle would go to square dancing and leave us there alone. And so Ella, I don't know why, she reads the encyclopedia and stuff, and then she scares Ev and I, telling us that the paint has lead in it, and if we touch the paint, all this terrible stuff is going to happen to us. And, it's like, and so, you might have heard this already. I think I told the story before. So anyway, so Ev and I are trying not to touch the wall. We're sleeping in bed and we're screaming, and Uncle Elmer comes home and runs in there saying, "What is wrong? What's happening?" He thought somebody was killing us. But we just didn't want to touch the paint because we didn't. I have one more that I think about. When I really think about it, I think about all this stuff. I knew her more as in my young life than I did when I was older, because we went all of our separate ways, you know. But she just learned to drive, and they had a Rambler, I think. And back then it was all stick shift. So she took us to Circle K, where they let us take the car. We're like all excited. We go to Circle K, and Ella gets Coke, right? then she's driving us, and she's got a Coke in her hand, trying to shift the car. And oh my gosh, it was so funny. So she was just learning how to do all this. It was before they had all those drink holders, you know. So Ed was grabbing her soda, and I was in the back seat like I was 11 or something, going, "Oh my gosh, this is fun." So she was really a beautiful person, and I saw her Christmas Eve, and I thought she looked pretty good that day, actually. And she gave everybody a Christmas card, which I thought was really sweet. I really appreciated that. And I'm just really sorry that she got so sick and passed on, but it happens to the best of us. And I really appreciated your poem. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's all I have for today.
Okay.
I can kind of touching off that.
And he's got a drink in his hand.
Talking about Mom reading the encyclopedia. Her in words, you know. We would play these card games where you had to, like, they'd have letters on them, you had to spell out words. And she was just one time just laying out all these different bird names. What the hell is like? Oh, that's something, bird. And I think at one point April was like I'm calling bullshit on this. I had to look up, and what it was an actual bird. And so, I think she would maybe try and limit herself. So like, I'll stick with a theme to make it easier on them. And as every time now we see something about birds, or we were just laughing earlier about how chatty the birds were. It made us think of that.
Yeah.
And growing up, I was a typical little boy. Always sitting in the doctor's office, crawling under the chairs, and just being the child. And she always would just, "Stop being facetious. Stop being facetious."
Yeah, that was her word.
And I never knew what she was saying. So some years later, I finally asked her. I'm like, "What's facetious?" And she's all, "Look it up."
Oh.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna look it up. I'm just gonna assume it means super awesome and cool. Every time she tries, "Stop being facetious," she's like, "Oh, you want me to stop being super awesome and cool?" And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And I miss, she hasn't said it in decades. I've been older and much more mature than a little kid, but I still have my moments, and so I'm trying to own that back, and I'm being facetious.
You are super awesome and cool.
Well, April, Luke, name that bird.
These were just the weirdest words. I was like, there's no way. And I would look it up, and it would be like indigenous to something. So I don't know what indigenous with birds.
Oh, wow. Okay. Anybody else would like to share something? Because I know everybody has a story. Hannah, come on up. Oh.
So, when I think of Grandma Ella, I always think of how much she showed up for me. It really means a lot to me. She was deaf, and she would still come to all my dance concerts. And looking back, I'm like, God, that must have been so boring. Just watching this for 3 hours before my 2-minute dance, because she would do it in all the cheer competitions, and even just picking me up and going to get ice cream at Dairy Queen. She didn't have much, but she would give me everything she could, and it really just penalized me.
Yeah. You hung the moon for sure.
Every password we found from Mom was like Hannah 123.
As it should.
Hannah 14.
That's true. Well, I will say, I felt a little guilty when we sold the Arizona home, because she was never happier than when we were going on vacation and she got to dog sit and swim in the pool as much or as little. So I think when we sold the house and moved to Maine, I think she was more sad that she was losing access to the pool. And the dog too. She loved Chester. But she had a little impish. I think imp would be like a really funny word for her, because she would pull a little squirrely, pull a little funny on you, you know, and then she'd just kind of be like, or anybody that knew her knew she's a little gassy. and she would walk across the room, and you're sitting there going, Mother, let's excuse yourself or something, and then I would go, Mom, and then she would just be like, well, what? And I would say, just because you can't hear it doesn't mean I'm sure she'd be super happy that I just told that story. But she, like anybody, she would drive us crazy because she was just so tenacious, and I mean, my God, if you really wanted something out of her, you just told her she couldn't do it, and she would make it happen. And it was interesting. There was in all, like, God bless America, the mountain of papers. And just know that any card that you ever sent her, she not only kept the card but the envelope next to the card.
I attest to that because Luke pulled out a birthday card I gave Ella 20-something years ago.
Yeah. So as we're going through like all of the papers and everything, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, Mom, like, just enough already. But she, thankfully after her mom passed, she had, was gracious enough to put everything together, for us, and set it up so that, she would be taken care of and everything. And one of the things that I found in her papers was, just how much she gave to the church and stuff, and just testament. Like I said, the 52 places that she donated, and then it was hilarious because 3 months later, she's texting me and she is absolutely bitching about the volume of mail that she has. Absolutely beside herself. And to this day, like right before we came out, she would send us manila envelopes, and it would be pads of paper from the Indian something of America, and pens from the Humane Society. Anything that they mail her, she would package up. Bless her heart. The last package cost $16.20, and I said, Mom, we appreciate it, but it made her happy, so I stopped telling her to stop doing it because it made her happy. But
Exactly.
She absolutely adored everybody in her life, and she was just always just a very gracious and kind woman. So I know she would be completely floored to just to know that we were all here to speak about her today. So thank you for everything. We do appreciate it.
It's my honor. Wish I wasn't doing it, but life doesn't give us a guarantee of how long we're going to stick around. But thank you for reaching out to me. And yeah. Okay, I know there's other people, but I guess everybody's kind of like, nah. Okay, so I will finish up. I will now recite Psalms 23, also known as the Shepherd's Prayer. And if you know it, you may recite it too. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overfloweth. Surely goodness and love will follow me in all the days of my life, and will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Holy Father, as we end this time of gathering and bid our last farewell to our departed loved one, we ask for your comfort upon every friend and family member. Be with them each and every day. Let them feel your loving and strong presence in their hearts as they adjust to life without Ella. We ask that your Spirit will be their constant companion, assuring them of your love and your care. Fill their longing and emptiness with your overwhelming love. Let them rest in your faithful care, especially in the coming days and weeks. God of comfort, let your presence be known to each one who suffers from the pain of their loss. Amen. I will close this ceremony with a poem titled Everlasting Light. Those we love must someday pass beyond our present sight, must leave us in the world we know without their radiant light. But we know that like a candle, their lovely light will shine to brighten up another place, more perfect, more divine. And in the realm of heaven, where they shine so warm and bright, our loved ones live forevermore in God's eternal light. This concludes Ella's celebration of life. Thank you for being here today and paying homage to Ella. Such a beautiful person. Thank you. And you can turn on your cell phones too.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. You're more than welcome. It was the least I could do for Ella. I mean, she's just she was a strong woman, and she gave